Perfect. Perfect. Welcome to Dirty Fanatics United.
Falcon fans, you are watching Dirty Fanatics United. We are coming at you live on a Friday night at 8 o'clock. I am your host, Chase, followed by my co-hosts, Philip and Cody. As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Leave a comment if you want to talk Falcon football. Philip, Cody, what's going on, man? How we been?
It's been a stressful week for me, but, besides that, I'm blessed to be here, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to talk some Falcon football, but let's get to it, man.
Yes, sir. It is time to talk Falcon football. Cody, my other main man, what's going on, brother? How have you been? What's been going on?
Man, talk about a busy week. We are still taking orders, handwritten and individually typed up. So,
oh man,
rocking and rolling. So, but hopefully that's all that wonderful stuff stops here in July. So.
Yeah, I could imagine a hacker, you said, believe it was, hacking into y'all system. I could imagine that being stressful. Work's stressful enough as it is. We don't want to deal with hackers. Shout out to the early viewers here on the podcast. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Let us know who you are and where you're tuning in from, man. Hit that like button. We're talking Falcon football. Cody, Philip, we got a lot of topics for tonight, man. Before we do so, why not me introduce how my week's been? The past few podcasts, I never do it. I'm like, I always ask these guys what they've had going on, but I never talk about what I got going on. Still a boring life, still going to work every day, still making welds every day. Starting a new thing up on the YouTube, actually. It is still Atlanta Falcon. Give me 1 second.
Technical difficulties, people.
I'm gonna say, you gotta love it when that happens.
Technical difficulties.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Gotcha.
It's time to buy a new headset, boys. Sorry for that, viewers. If you're watching on the radio station, wherever you're watching, man, sorry about that. I know that was a speaker banger there. But as I was saying, the podcast will still be on YouTube, Atlanta Falcon content. But I'll be throwing a little mix of some welding tips and tricks on Cravy's side of the corner on DFU. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. A couple of new subscribers today from a short that we dropped. So check out the short, man. Hit a like, support us, and however you can, leave a comment. Philip, Cody, man, it's enough of what I got going on. It's time to talk Falcon football, baby. And I'll start it right from the top with some breaking news. Not really Falcon news, but it's breaking news about football. And it's a league that's slowly creeping up. Maybe one day merge back with the NFL. Don't know. This is just rumors that I've heard. The UFL will have their first ever draft coming up this season. It'll be available for all 2024 NFL draft players that did not make the draft, that did not get drafted, and also undrafted free agents, as well as free agents on a regular NFL roster. They can make these drafts. This is something new the UFL is coming up with, so it's something interesting, I think. Philip, Cody, your thoughts about the UFL being able to reach out to free agents now and possibly draft them, and even undrafted free agents that didn't get drafted?
I don't really see it as a bad idea. It's still giving people chances to, live their dream, whether it's in the NFL or what. It's still, you're still playing, doing that as your job. And honestly, the way I see it, like as it is, that's just still a huge blessing, whichever league it is. Mm-hmm. So I don't really see it as a bad idea, but it could. Eventually just give to people that haven't been given that shot or just been having that tough time. Yeah, give them that shot, give them back their confidence, and then bring them back. Possibly in the future, come back to the NFL or something. So
Cody,
not too bad.
You heard the breaking news. I think it's pretty cool. Philip agrees. He thinks it's something that can help these kids out in the long run to continue their career, to potentially make that return back to the NFL as their dream as was coming into the draft. Cody, your thoughts of the UFL initiating this draft, being able to reach out to these undrafted free agents?
Yeah, no, man, it's awesome that they get to do that because, like Philip said, it does give them a chance to continue to play football beyond the college level. It's also good news for our Falcons too, guys, because if you think about it, how many guys, go undrafted, they don't play, and it's a missed talent. You get this chance to get them in, see what they're doing, watch them develop. It's almost like having a farm system now for the NFL. For their guys that are undrafted. So it'll be really neat to see the talent that does develop, that the Falcons can be like, okay, we like you. Hey, you know what? We're not quite as deep as we need to be in our secondary. You've looked really good. You stood out. Come to camp. Come to practice. Or whatever the case is. So it's not only is it exciting and awesome for the young men that are going to get to continue their football career. It's a great thing for our Falcons too. As far as talent that gets to continue to develop, to grow, and what we can possibly benefit from later on in the future.
100%, man. Cody with the facts as well as Philip. Roll chalk. Excuse me, man. I can't talk here on a Friday. Roll call check here on the YouTube channel kind of things. Abno here in the chat said, what's good? What's good? Cousin T, what's going on, brother? DSGB Hall in the chat said, DFU, what it do? DSGB Hall, man, a diehard of DFU. Shout out for being in the comment section. If you're watching the live, man, you have no reason not to hit a like and leave a comment from wherever you're watching, man. You're here for a reason. You scrolled across it and came across us for a reason, man. Hit that comments. Leave us a comment. Let us know where you're watching from, man. Falcon fans, we are talking Falcon football. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and most definitely comment. Falcon fans, that leads me to my next subject here for tonight. Not really breaking news, but it's news here for the Atlanta Falcons. An ESPN reporter is talking about our guy, AJ Terrell, and he has nothing but nice things to say about AJ Terrell. This is coming from my guy, Aaron Schatz from ESPN. He says, I suggest the Atlanta Falcons' final move before camp in July be extending AJ Terrell. He argues that behind Jesse Bates III, Terrell is the most important player on defense. Although Atlanta just picked up his fifth-year option, extending him should be a no-brainer. Terrell has never been a ball hawk, but was recently named the most physical cornerback in the NFL by Pro Football Focus. Falcon fans, you have possibly one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, and you have him on a fifth-year option. You make that contract. You make that sign because you don't call him A.J. Terrell for no reason. Philip, Cody, your thoughts on my guy Aaron's comments about A.J. Terrell?
I don't know. It surprises me, really, that somebody's given a player on our team respect, honestly, but constantly everything I see, all our players is just even on top 100s, 10s, all that, man, on charts, always being disrespected. So, shout to him for showing love to my boy AJ. I got the signed gloves. You probably can't see them at the moment, but they are in this case as well. So, I'm always showing love to AJ, man. AJ Terrell.
Philip, you speak about the signed gloves, man. AJ is definitely a guy for the fans. I can count at least 4 to 5 different times that I've had interactions with AJ Terrell. Every training camp, I went to a road game. Shout out to my guy Jack for getting me back with the players and press. Got to chop it up with AJ Terrell right after the tough loss in New Orleans, Ritter's first ever start. So it's cool to see Falcon players that will interact with Falcon fans even after a tough divisional loss. Cody, your thoughts on Aaron Schatz's comments about our guy AJ Terrell?
Yeah, well, it's no surprise, for us Falcon fans, but it's good to see that he's getting national attention. I think it's good. I think it's good that we signed the 5th year, and of course, I think it's kind of one of those things. Like as a Falcon fan, it's kind of like, well, duh, because we've seen AJ and what he can do. As far as the national media and other teams fans, maybe not so much. So it is kind of neat to see Falcons in the spotlight, which means we're obviously heading in the right direction. We've got the guys to win, and it's just good to have some attention brought to us in a positive way. So
100%, man. AJ Terrell probably, I would say, and I would almost agree with Schatz, AJ Terrell is probably one of your most dominant pieces on defense that you cannot afford to lose here in Atlanta. We talked about the roster last week, the depth at the cornerback spot, the depth at the safety spot, a kind of a feathered out group there when it comes to this secondary here in Atlanta. And we've talked about it, guys. Other content creators have talked about it. We're not bashing the team. We don't do that here on DFU, but we're going to bring you true and real content about these Atlanta Falcons because that's what we do. We rep the Atlanta Falcons, but we bring you the truth about the Atlanta Falcons. AJ Terrell, the best cornerback the past 3 years, I would say, in the NFC South. I don't care who can agree, who can argue. Comment section's there for that. Let's get at it. But AJ Terrell is AJ Terrell Island for a reason. I don't see AJ leaving Atlanta. That's why you grab the fifth-year option in AJ Terrell. You will see a contract extension, whether that's at the end of the season or midseason. God forbid anything happens to Terrell. That's why this fifth-year option is very important for AJ. But I do believe if he can continue to be that most pressured cornerback in the NFL, going up against some nice receivers this year, guys, this is going to really, really tell what kind of bag AJ Terrell gets next year against these dominant receivers. Enough about AJ Terrell. Some more praise for the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm loving it. We all know it. It's no secret. The Atlanta Falcons have one of the best offensive lines in the game. And the Atlanta Falcons rank here from Warren Sharp, one of the best defensive linemen to ever play in the game. Warren Sapp, my bad, I said Sharp. Warren Sapp here, he says, the Lions is number 1. Then he's got the Falcons at number 2. He's got the Browns at 3. He's got the Eagles at 4, and he's got the Chiefs at 5. I can understand the Lions. I mean, you got Penny, whatever his last name is, on that line. That is a beast right there. And as well as the Falcons. You look at Chris Lindstrom. You look at Bergeron, his first year, what he did in the run game here in Atlanta. Philip, Falcon fans, get in the comment section. Let me know what you think about these comments. Cody, Philip, what are we thinking here when we see that the Atlanta Falcons offensive line is sitting at number 2 here out of all 32 teams?
Man, it's not a surprise to me. We've been doing this for the past 2 or 3 years, and it's been consistent. Whether we complain about one guy on the line or not, altogether as a PFF grade, altogether the offensive line has always been solid every single year. So it's not really a surprise to me hearing this. I could argue we could be possibly first, but that is a tough little argument right there. So I mean, but it's no shock to me, and I hope they continue to be the top tier that they are. Just keep going above and beyond because we do have a newfound quarterback now. So maybe
time to hold up straight for Kirk Cousins, baby.
Yeah, yes, so maybe we continue our greatness and use that because we say it all the time. It's without the offensive line, there's nothing.
Yes, sir.
Nothing happens on that football field without the offensive line. So
100%. I preach it to our guys, our little all-star players, Philip. We talk to them all the time about it. If you don't do your job here at this O-line, you do not have a team. Cody, a former offensive lineman, talked to no other but Cody Keeler. Cody, your thoughts about your Atlanta Falcons offensive line ranking at number 2 out of all 32 teams?
Yeah, and you know what? It's so good to see because, like Philip said, every football play starts up front with the big guys up front. Matt Ryan's last 2 years, we had a turnstile there at the guard position. And so to see the improvement going from, God, I feel like Matt was on the ground. I mean, I think he was second or third most sacked quarterback in the NFL, like the last 2 years that he was here. And so to see that our offensive line has improved, not only in the running game, but in the pass game too, which is going to be so important this year because, Kirk's going to stand in the pocket and sling it. It's good to see it. It's good to hear that, hey, man, that Warren Sapp, I'm not a big fan of his, but, to hear that coming from a defensive lineman that, hey, like, they're legit. They're number 2, they're the number 2 line, was it the NFL or NFC?
NFL, baby.
NFL. So, see, that's even better to hear that it's in number 2 in the NFL. So,
and an ex-Bucks player saying that.
Yeah, an ex-Bucks player saying that. And Warren Sapp really doesn't like the Falcons, so I'm sure he didn't like saying it. So, to hear that, our offensive line has improved enough that Warren Sapp, a former division rival, a former defensive lineman is giving us praise saying, hey, this Falcon O-line is for real is huge.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Miss Carrie in the chat. She says, Happy Falcons Friday, everyone. Shout out to Carrie and what she does for One Time for the Fan, the newest member to OTFT, One Time for the Fan. Check them out on YouTube, man. Facebook, Twitter, Spotify. They're everywhere, man. One Time for the Fan, where I started, baby. Shout out to One Time for the Fan, man. Falcon fans, it's a lot of praise when it comes to this podcast for the Atlanta Falcons, and tonight's subjects are nothing but praise for these Atlanta Falcons because, hey, what can I say? Terry has been building a team. Starting off with the quarterbacks with the best weapons in the NFL. Guess who ranks number 8? No other but Kirk Cousins, London, Mooney, Pitts, Robinson, Tyler Algier. I can continue on. I can count on all fingers. Falcon fans, we have some targets here in Atlanta. Philip, Cody, your thoughts about ranking number 8 in the best weapons for quarterbacks in the NFL?
I'd have to look at the rest. But, just looking at that, again, that to me, I feel like it's a big honor. We don't never – I don't know how long it's been. I'm going to be honest with you. Since 16, we haven't been given the respect that we've had, that we should have been. Even that year, we were even doubted. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy that we're getting eyed on and looked at so much here lately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just – I wouldn't say
Bringing back
overwhelming,
old memories.
but it's
Bringing
just
back old memories.
it's just it does give that good little vibe. I'm just happy to see that they're getting the respect they deserve because us as Falcon fans know they deserve it. But whether other teams and fans want to, they all hate. We do it to each other. It is what it is. But I can't wait for the season to start.
Cody, you heard Philip. He's excited. He's thinking about 2016. We're going back to the playoffs. Hell, maybe even the Super Bowl. Cody, your thoughts about the Atlanta Falcons at number 8 in the best quarterback weapons available in the NFL?
Yeah, man, that's huge. I think there was only 5 other teams in the NFC that were ahead of us. I think it was the Bears, the Eagles, the Niners, the Vikings.
The Bears is
and the
crazy.
Lions.
Let's go ahead and wipe the Bears right off that number 1 list. You got Caleb Williams.
Right.
You got Caleb Williams and you drafted a receiver, but are they going to turn out what they think that they're going to be? Who knows?
See, that's just it. So really, you're looking at top 5, not only in the NFC, you're looking at top 5 NFL because I think people are hyped up about Caleb Williams and thinking that he's going to make his receivers better, and I don't get it yet. Like
another thing, Cody, that's crazy to me.
The
I don't mean to
Vikings?
interrupt you. I'm sorry, but
Vikings are ahead,
Jalen Hurts is above Brock Purdy and all those targets over in San Fran. That's crazy to me. I think San Fran should probably be number 2 or number 1 on this list. You got Christian McCaffrey.
JJ McCarthy, bro, is on number 5.
Yeah.
So again, it's like Philip said. It's
I'll take back what I said. They still disrespect. That's crazy.
It definitely feels like we're a little low on that list. Looking at some of the teams like the Dolphins. They've got a ton of speed. And
Look
Tua's
who's at the
decent,
bottom of that list, Cody.
But yeah,
there's the Super Bowl
Mahomes.
champions.
Yeah. But then again, Patrick really didn't have wide receivers. They really kind of glued their wide receiver staff together there at the end. But
crazy,
man. It's still good to see us in the top 10, man.
Yeah,
we haven't seen it since 16, 17. Where we're in meaningful spots, and so again, it's like to your point, Chase. Like you said, Terry is cooking and he's building this team back, and it's good to see.
Shout out to the Birdcage LLC here in the comment section. Another fellow Atlanta Falcon content creator. Check him out on YouTube if you haven't already, man. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that like. Leave a comment and share as you do here for DFU, man. Shout out to the Birdcage for checking in. He says, what's good, fellas? Birdcage, appreciate you, homie. Falcon fans, we are talking Falcon football. Our next topic for tonight, another praise item. Not really a praise item, but an item that stands out to me because, guys, we know it as well as anybody else knows it. Matt Ryan was the best quarterback to ever play here in Atlanta. I'm sorry, people disagree, but I would say the Atlanta Falcons really sold their pick when they got Matt Ryan. That was the best pick they probably picked in the draft, other than Julio Jones. Julio Jones was a good pick in the draft as well.
That was a bargain, but hey, I'll take
Matt
it.
Ryan, with the most postseason pass touchdowns over the last 10 years, is still ranking at number 10 with 11 touchdowns. This guy's been out the game for a couple of years. He's been out the postseason for a while,
He ain't been into the postseason in 7 years.
Matt Ryan with the 11 touchdowns. Philip, Cody, your thoughts about this awesome topic here. Matty Ice still putting his mark out on the league, being retired.
Man, it's just like I said, it's wild. It's been 7 years since he's even been in the postseason itself, and he's still sitting at number 10. That says a lot right there. Is it the most? No, that wouldn't even make it crazier if he was at the most. But, sitting at 11 touchdowns, that's for a postseason kind of a lot, though.
Philip, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I got to get to my guy, the Birdcage, before he gets out of here. He says, one day I'd love to get on with y'all boys. Hey, if you're free next Friday at 8, brother, the spot is open. Let me know. Hit the comments. Or, hell, you got me on Facebook. Message me on Facebook, brother. We'll talk about it. Caleb in the chat said, let's go. Shout out to Caleb, man. Hit that like button. Philip, I didn't mean to cut you off. I didn't know if you were still going.
No. But, it's just crazy, 6, 7 years without being in postseason, and pretty much he hasn't played in the past couple of years, or really in the past year or so. But
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy to me. He's still sitting at number 10 with 11 touchdowns.
Cody, you hear the stats, you hear the
That's why
facts.
he's the GOAT.
Obviously, Matt Ryan, a guy that hasn't been in the postseason in 7 years, Philip, 7-8 years. It's been a while since he's been there, but he still left the mark on the NFL at number 10 with 11 touchdown passes. Some good names there on that list with Matty Ice. I didn't get every one of them, but some really big name quarterbacks on that list. Cody, your thoughts? Matty Ice still at number 10.
Yeah, there's a reason Matt Ryan is going into the Falcon Hall of Fame the way as fast as he did. I think that's the fastest. I think that's the fastest I've ever seen a player get into the Ring of Honor. It's what, three years removed from being, 3 or 4 years removed from being a Falcon, and he's already in. It
Just
took
got
him.
retired.
Yeah, I would say it took, Roddy White, arguably one of our greatest wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
It took, 6-7 years for him to get it, so for Matt Ryan to jump in like that. And honestly, I'm going to say this now on the podcast is he's probably going to be the first Falcon to have his number retired, period. I think this is the first number that is hung up and nobody can even touch it. It just goes to show what we had when he was here. And, unfortunately, I think a lot of fans didn't appreciate it the way that they should have. I know I did. I enjoyed Matt Ryan, all 14 seasons here. I wish he was, I wish he had been here his entire career. But, it just goes to show what Matt Ryan brought to this franchise and what he did to turn this team around. You asked a kid out of Boston College in 2008 to take a franchise that was you talk about rock bottom, man, and turned this thing around immediately. In first 2 years,
Touchdown pass, man. Touchdown.
First touchdown. The first quarterback in franchise history.
Michael James
started in '66. The first quarterback to have back-to-back winning seasons. Not only was it impressive that he put 5 together, the fact that he even put 2 together, because it had never been done in our franchise until Matt Ryan showed up. So it just goes to show how good Matt Ryan really, really was. To Philip's point again, not being in the playoffs for a while and still be ranked 10th in touchdowns at 11. I don't know who else is on that list, but that's impressive. That is absolutely.
Of course, Tom Brady is your number one spot.
Right.
I mean, he retired at 50 years old. Tom Brady is your number one. I have to go back on the list and look. I know Matthew Stafford's on there. Josh Allen was on there. Patty Mahomes. There was a couple more, but and their stats, dude, for Patty Mahomes and Josh Allen. Not really so much Josh Allen, but Patrick Mahomes' touchdown passes in the postseason are crazy, guys. I'm talking about crazy. You talk about the young goat. I'm sorry, but Patrick Mahomes will be that next quarterback with a handful of rings. Falcon fans, D. Sloan is here in the chat. Said, "What's up, fellas? Our roster on both sides of the ball is loaded. What are y'all's thoughts about the Falcons having primetime game?" A great question from my guy, D. Sloan, out on the boat, headed to the Bahamas with the Rise Up Tour. Shout out to D. Sloan for tuning in, man. Shout out to you, sir. Philip, your thoughts on this question here. Atlanta Falcons finally having primetime game.
I'm honored for it in a way, but I do kind of see it as let's try to make a little few jokes in there because, Kirk is not so great at primetime games, as was, with Minnesota. But here's the catch, guys. It's not just one player that's playing this whole entire game. It's a team thing. They got to win it together. So, if anything, they have a poor record, not just Kirk himself. This is a whole new, refreshing thing. So I'm honored to have these primetime games. It's been a long time coming. The only ones we've been having is Thursday night games against Carolina on a bad night when it's just pouring rain, it just ruins everything, But
it almost doesn't even seem like a primetime game when you go and play Carolina in Carolina. It doesn't seem like a primetime game. Cody,
it don't even feel like it to them neither. They don't even want to be there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a terrible, shitty stadium. You're getting moved out of Carolina in about 5 years, so it doesn't even matter. D. Sloan with a great comment here. Cody, your thoughts about the Falcons having primetime games this year, man? Let D. Sloan know what's going on.
Yeah, man, it's pretty awesome. It's amazing what a good quarterback will do for your team, man. We were no stranger to primetime games when Matt Ryan was here, and now that we got Kirk, we're back in the saddle. Now, as a season ticket holder, it makes things a little more difficult with work and getting the wife there and logistics with the kid.
Yeah,
but I will.
You could just take me.
There we go.
You just give me the extra.
There we go. I'm just, but my thing is I'd rather be inconvenienced because of this, because man, that means that we're good. again, and it means that we're going to be
Shows the
winning
talent.
again, or that we should be winning again, and that people are going to want to watch this offense run. They're going to want to see this defense shut people down, and I think that's what we're going to do. Like I keep saying, I see us going 4-1, 5-0 in our first 5 starts to start the season, even against Kansas City. You know, I'm excited, man. So it's just awesome that we're getting the, I guess, the privilege to play on primetime again. So it's good to see for our birds.
Speaking on that,
Sloan, I'll answer your question here real quick before we get to Philip. Primetime games, like my guy Cody just nailed. I mean, he just hit the nail right on the head. First hit went straight through the wood. Cody with the facts. You got a quarterback now. You finally have a quarterback. You like you said, you were no stranger when Matty Ice was the quarterback here in Atlanta. You were playing primetime games at least twice a year. Whether you made the playoffs or not, you was getting a primetime game. That's just how it was. Now, you come off the Mariota year, you don't get a primetime game other than the Thursday night game, as Philip mentioned, the ass cheek throw. And then you got Desmond Ridder with his first ever primetime game in Carolina as well. So, I mean, now you finally have I think it's 3 to 4 primetime games, guys, and it's like a Monday night. I think it may be a Sunday night. There's a Thursday night. There's a lot of primetime games, and you guys know the atmosphere in the bins on primetime games, man. It is going to be lit in the bins. Sloan, I'm all for it, brother. I'm all for it.
Speaking on that too, though, I seen a comment today. It was about Kirk Cousins, the whole Monday Night Football thing. It was him with his picture. A random Eagles fan just commented, Eagles, he says, can't wait for the Eagles to bury him on Monday Night Football for a 3rd straight year. Maybe Kirk's wanting a little bit of redemption himself.
Yeah.
So I'm hyped to see it. I'm hyped to see these.
We've talked about that game, and we've talked about that game a lot here on the channel. The traveling to Philly, playing in their stadium in that hostile environment.
But thank God it's at the beginning of this season.
Mm-hmm.
It's hot.
It's not going to be cold. It's not going to be cold, but you have to deal with those dirty, dirty Philly fans, man.
Don't matter, baby.
You got to go in there with a game plan. You got to go in there with a game plan. You're playing at night. You're playing under their lights in Philly. It's not going to be an easy game. I'll go ahead and say it.
Just like Matt said, it doesn't make a damn. They go in there and win that bitch.
And that's the mentality you have to have when you play a team like Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. These type of guys, these cornerbacks have got to be locked down. And as we continue to say, Clark Phillips, you have a big matchup come week 2, week 3 against the Eagles with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So Falcon fans, it's a lot to watch. And I'm not bashing these cornerback guys. This is not what this is. This is me just being real with you Falcon fans. We have a challenge this year. We have a challenge, and as my boy Cody just said, you've got to step up, and we need it from all guys on this roster.
Well, and this is the thing about the Philly fans, man. If you can get up and get up big, you can take them out of the game.
Yeah.
That's all you've got to do, because I don't fear the Eagles on offense. I don't fear their defense. I don't think our team will struggle with that. You take their fans out of it and they lose that crowd noise, and they lose that, I know home field advantage means a lot, especially in college and high school and stuff like that. But, when you get into it, definitely helps in the pros, but you take that out, it's already kind of a non-fact. They'll sit there and tell us that
we've seen it many times here.
But you take that out of them, man, and it's quiet inside their stadium.
Because they're good fans. They're loud. They're loud.
If they're absolutely loud. But if you take them out,
take that away.
Take it away from them.
We've done it. We've done it here in Atlanta.
Yeah, I was there for the opener game with Arthur Smith, and
not that game, but the one before that.
It was just like I was like this going into the second quarter. Like, can this game get over with? But Falcon fans, we got a new coach, we got a new quarterback, we got a new backup quarterback, we got some defensive linemen, we got a Braylon Trice, the guy that was called the enforcer back in college. I'm ready to see what happens with Braylon Trice. Falcon fans, other people around the league seem to think the Falcons could be a team. Not only just a team to make the playoffs and win the NFC South, but a dark horse team to make the Super Bowl. No other than Bleacher Report Gridiron ranks the Atlanta Falcons their dark horse sleeper pick for the Super Bowl. Philip, Cody, your thoughts about that?
Yeah, for a team that hasn't been in the playoffs for almost 6 years, I will take that. I'm satisfied with it. Do I feel like of course I want to take game by game, but we're just talking about this now, so that's a big accomplishment. And, that's just showing the type of players we got on our team, the capability of what we have, what we can do. So shout out to them. Really, that's a lot of respect. I ain't gonna lie. Out of all 32 teams, for us to be picked, man, Like we said, why not us?
Why not us? Philip,
Why
the
not
slogan
us?
of the year. We are going to have a Dirty Fanatics United t-shirt that says that. So if you want to purchase
It's my
that,
slogan
get in
now.
the comment box, man. Let me know.
It's my
Philip
slogan
coming up
now.
with the slogan. Raheem Moore started it. Philip's going to pursue it, baby. Cody, your thoughts about this here, brother?
Yeah, again, as a Falcon fan, it doesn't surprise me. This team, seeing the weapons that we've acquired, seeing Kirk Cousins here. I mean, man, this is the first time in 4 years that there are pictures coming out of training camp, and video coming out of training camp that we're looking
buff.
good. Like it almost felt like our media team was non-existent in the off season the last couple of years, and now you're seeing videos of Kirk dropping dimes. You're showing videos of Bijan catching balls. Just all kinds of different things, coming out of training camp and the hype around this team. So it's awesome to be picked. But again, as a Falcon fan, it's like, it doesn't surprise me because we're watching this team
Philip,
get
shut
better.
that frog
and
up, dude. Go strangle that frog, dude. Go grab it by the neck and shut him up. Cody, continue, please.
But yeah, man, that's awesome that we got a sleeper. I kind of, that's kind of my thing too, is I fully believe we're winning the South, and there's no reason that we can't make that push to the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game. So
I love to see it, Cody. When I came across it on Twitter, I was like, whoa, hold up. I got to screenshot this because we got to talk about it on the podcast. They're picking the Atlanta Falcons as a dark horse Super Bowl team. Like that didn't even happen in 2016, guys. We were counted out from the start when we lost to the Bucs week 1. So Falcon fans, a lot could happen this season. My thoughts on it: if the Atlanta Falcons can start hot, you make that through week 5. You beat those big name teams, you gain respect. Teams are going to start game planning against you hard. That's when you open up the playbook, Zach Robinson. That's when we start seeing the Bijan out the backfield, the Algier, the ground and pound, the Drake London going over the top for 1K this season, Kyle Pitts signifying that contract year. A lot of things could happen here in Atlanta, but obviously we have to talk about the bad here on the channel. And it's something that I've been seeing circling around the Atlanta Falcons for this past week, I'd say. It's the title of the show. Michael Penix Jr. inconsistent? ? Falcon fans have been releasing articles, reporters coming out of Flowery Branch, out of the bin, saying that Michael Penix Jr. is having kind of a little bit of inconsistencies going here. Cody, Philip, what can we say to the fans to kind of ease the mood here with these topics that are coming out? This is a guy that's going to sit for quite a while behind a Kirk Cousins. Philip, Cody, your thoughts about these alleged rumors here coming out from fellow reporters?
Yeah, I mean, if it is true, just look at it this way though. If he's still sitting here, 2 to 3 years later, that means Kirk's doing his job, but he's also learning behind Kirk. He's learning what to do, how to manage it, how to change what is inconsistent to make it consistent. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's all it is. He's not. It'd be a bad situation to hear that if he was the guy going straight into the game now, but he don't have to take that responsibility. See, Coach Roz gave him the opportunity to sit behind somebody like Kirk Cousins to learn to, get all the knowledge to make it slower down for him. It's just pretty much easier for him when he comes into the league.
Philip, and we already know the kid's got the arm. We know he's got the arm. We know he's got the deep ball accuracy. He was going to be a top 10 prospect. He ended up being a top 10 prospect.
One of the most talented, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm gonna be
Michael Penix Jr. coming out of college, every reporter, and there's stats, you can fact check me, whatever you want to do, but Michael Penix Jr. was reported that he was the best deep ball thrower in this draft. And that's why the Atlanta Falcons flew to Seattle to watch this kid throw the ball in the snow, not in the sun, not in the rain, but in the snow. Michael Penix Jr. is still impressed. Cody, real quick before we get to you, shout out to Wallace Smith. My guy said, "What's going on, fam?" Wallace, glad to have you here in the comments, brother. Appreciate your comments on the last post, bro. Kept us going, man, throughout the week. Was able to comment back with Wallace on the last live. So shout out to Wallace Smith. Cody, your thoughts about the Michael Penix Jr. inconsistency articles that have been released this past week. I don't know if you've seen them or not, but they've been transpiring around the social media world. I've seen at least 3. I have yet to click on an article and read it because I know how bulljive these articles are in the offseason. But Cody, your thoughts about the articles coming out about Michael Penix?
To Philip's point, it would be panic. It would be panic time if Penix was starting week 1. He's not. He's starting behind Kirk Cousins. He's got, other than learning from Matt Ryan, he's learning from the next best option, in my opinion.
And has a coach.
And so it's one of those things is like, if you want to panic about, practice and stuff like that, go ahead. But there's a reason. And this, people laughed at us when we picked up Kirk Cousins and then drafted Penix. But there's a reason we did it, is because we want him to learn behind Kirk Cousins. I wouldn't want to be in the situation that the Patriots are in right now, hearing that Drake May is struggling and he doesn't have a veteran quarterback to learn from. Mm-hmm. He's doing it on the fly by him. Obviously he's got his coaching staff and stuff like that, but he doesn't have a Tom Brady. He doesn't have a Matt Ryan. He doesn't have a Kirk Cousins. He doesn't have a Peyton Manning. He doesn't have that proven leader in the locker room, the proven vet that knows how to go day in, day out, week in, week out, season to season, like Penix has with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is a professional, and what is the one thing that we always hear about Kirk Cousins? He is consistent. He is constantly consistent, is the best way that you can describe Kirk Cousins. Constantly consistent, and he will pick up those things from Kirk. So if he's inconsistent now, okay, cool. He's only been in the NFL 2-3 months now. Yeah. He's only been practicing for
throwing as well. I don't mean to cut you in short, bro, but he's also throwing to guys that are camp bodies. He's not taking reps with the first team. He's always obviously running either second or third team. You still have a Taylor Heineke that is a veteran that could be quarterback 2 on the roster if you don't plan on starting Michael Penix Jr. anytime soon. So 100%, Cody, continue on, bro.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, to, people that are panicking, quit buying into, like you said, Chase, to your point, is it's slow right now. So they're looking to write about anything that's going to get any kind of click, any kind of read. I'm not worried about it. He's got Kirk Cousins there to learn from. He's got, like you said, he's got a Tyler Heineke. I don't really want him learning from Tyler Heineke, but Tyler Heineke has been in the NFL, so he can help him still. So to me, it's just it's a slow news day and somebody wants clicks on their article. And that's about all it boils down to.
I'll get my take on it real quick. And it's pretty much what you two guys just stated here on the podcast. He's not starting week 1. He's not touching the field, and he may not touch the field if Kirk Cousins even gets hurt. You may see Taylor Heineke come out there and still play before Michael Penix Jr. You don't want to throw the rookie to the wolves. You want to give him this rookie season. That's why you drafted him behind a Kirk Cousins. You want to see this guy progress 2 to 3 years. PFF grade said that he wouldn't start till 2026. That's what we want. That's what we need to see. We want to see Kirk Cousins take us to the postseason 2 to 3 years in a row. And then you see a young, rejuvenated quarterback. I know people say, well, he's already 25 or however old he is. I'm 26. I mean, I'm not that old, I don't think. But, I mean, Michael Penix Jr. is a pro, man. Michael Penix Jr. is an athletic stud. He's been through a lot of diversity throughout his college with injuries. What that does for a player, Cody, you were a previous football player. To come back, that makes your comeback game even stronger. When you can come back and you can bounce back from these injuries, it still gives you faith to come out in that football field and give it 100% every game, every throw, every hike for Michael Penix Jr. behind that center. I think you have nothing to worry about. As my guy Wallace Smith said here in the chat, he said, I'm going to say it again. People can listen to all the rumors about what's going on with our Falcons because they have to put something out to see what responses they get. 100%.
It's engagement. That's all it is.
Sterling Woods here with another spot-on comment. Clickbait. We know he is young, but he will get better.
100%.
Glad we have diehard Atlanta Falcon fans here in the chat that agree with DFU, man. We're glad to have y'all here. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. If you're just tuning in, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We're at 406 subscribers on YouTube, man. On the way to 1K, baby. Almost at 500. Let's get it, man.
Almost
subscribe.
halfway there.
Share to a Falcon fan. We greatly appreciate it. Falcon fans, we were talking Falcon football. We kind of got away from the Super Bowl dark horse thing, and there's something I wanted to ask you two guys about that topic. If that's the case, if the Atlanta Falcons are the dark horse Super Bowl team, Philip, Cody, give me, I would say 3, but I mean, you don't have to give me exactly 3. What is the building blocks to be that dark horse Super Bowl team this season here for the Atlanta Falcons?
Main one is consistent offensive, quarterback, in which I feel like we're fine with that now. But we'll have to see, we have to get into the season first, And the second thing is one of my most important things that I've been, we did see a little bit more be impressed was the defense last year. If we can be consistent on defense as well, if it can play at least to par of what it was last year or even better, I'm changing that. That's going to be the main thing, I feel like. Because without defense, you don't win a championship. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. Defense wins championships. Really, third thing, I'm not really too sure, but I don't know. To be honest with you, those are my main two things. Though.
I'll give you your third one, Philip, and it could be a number one. You've got to have that receiver two this year. You've got to have that receiver two step up and play that role of a true receiver two because you haven't had it since Ridley, Canoe,
Julio. Kind of follows under the quarterback issues. Now we got a quarterback, but we have to see what how it plays into the season.
Matt Collins, a guy that I was big on.
You can make anybody into a great receiver if you have
that lingering injury on into the year with his foot. A guy that I thought could pan out here in Atlanta. He was that body fast receiver, a very lean guy, but now he is with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Cody, your thoughts about what it would take to be that dark horse team, that we can finally be a team that's within less than 10 years of that span, you're back in the Super Bowl. That's not bad for a franchise, I don't think.
No. So my 3 points for us to be a dark horse, like Philip said, my first one is obviously consistent quarterback play, which we're going to get out of Kirk Cousins. We're going to get that consistent quarterback play because at the end of the day, it's why Arthur Smith isn't here, is because of inconsistent quarterback play. We've got that now with Kirk Cousins. Number 2 definitely is going to be defense. To be, in that top 10, top 15 area. And I'm not talking about even overall. I'm talking, if you want to give up, my biggest thing with defense, bend, don't break. If you want to give up 3 points and 3 points and 3 points, whatever, as long as we're scoring touchdowns, which we'll do with Kirk Cousins, I'm okay with, letting teams, throw the ball down, do whatever they're going to do as long. We didn't give up a touchdown or a rushing touchdown till like week 8. Late. It was something else. So if we can recreate that, that's
and that didn't happen, Cody, until Grady Jarrett went down.
Exactly. If the defense can just that bend don't break mentality, or just flat out shut people down. I prefer to see them shut people down over bend and break. Over bend and don't break. But hopefully that's the case, is that they could replicate that. Not letting people score on the ground. And holding people to 3. I think the third thing that this really gonna kind of help us with that dark horse, with that get to the Super Bowl, is Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. If we can wear other teams out, and we know that Bijan and Tyler can do that, if you can wear these other teams down to where now they're breaking instead of bending, like we need to do, like where we need to bend and break, we need to break these other teams, man. And the ground game is one of the best ways to do that.
Cody, it was that philosophy there. It was almost a philosophy that our guy Arthur Smith could not figure out.
Right.
There was games that you ran the ball the whole entire game, and then there was games to where you wanted to come out on first down and throw the football.
Right.
But you had 2 guys, like you said, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. I truly believe Bijan hits 1K if it was under a different coach. I really do.
Yeah.
My guy, go ahead, Cody. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, I was going to say, so, that's going to be my big key. Can you get Tyler to 1,000 yards? Can you get Bijan close to 2? Which I don't see why you couldn't. So if you can get those 2 guys in, the 1,000 mark area, or anywhere close to 1,005, 1,002 with both of them, it's going to kill other teams, man, because it takes the wind out of you. You don't get a rest on defense. You don't get a sub in and out as quick. And that's the other thing that I think that we need to get back to as a team. What did we kill people with? And I never understood why we didn't run no huddle more often. Because when Matt Ryan was going no huddle, nobody stopped us.
Play action,
some of the most play action, and the boot. So again, if we can get that 1,000 and be quick, just in and out, it's going to go a long way for us.
Sterling Woods in the chat says quarterback play and receiver play, and pressuring that quarterback on defense. My guy Wallace Smith with a great comment here. He says, it's going to depend on how the defense plays for us, the dark horse team, and the offense is going to be able to score with any team. Wallace Smith with the confidence in this Atlanta
Another
Falcon
thing
offense.
you can mention too is, being that dark horse is the consistency on the offensive line.
Yeah,
Like,
a huge,
that's a huge. If you can be
amount.
consistent, that's a big part. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Offensive
just
line,
like
man, is
just the
where it
same as the
starts.
defensive line. To me, those are two of the most important things.
Got to have the offensive line, got to have the running game, got to have cornerback 2 solid, and receiver 2 has got to do their job. Falcon fans, we're talking Falcon football. Hit that like, leave a comment, hit the subscribe if you haven't already, share it to a Falcon fan. You're listening to Dirty Fanatics. Now, our last topic for tonight, DFU. It's not a very good topic, but it's a topic that we've got to talk about here on the channel. PFF ranks the Atlanta Falcons defensive line among one of the worst out of all 32 teams. Philip, Cody, obviously you lost a piece in Campbell, but as I just said, you picked up Braylon Trice. You got Dolores.
Brendan Dolores.
You've got so
Ororo.
many people. Roke Ohorohu. You got all these guys that you went out and drafted in the second,
Eddie
third,
Goldman.
fourth rounds. Eddie Goldman, a name I constantly forget. Eddie Goldman. Philip, Cody, your thoughts about the Atlanta Falcons ranking pretty darn close to last when it comes to defensive line.
The only way I'm thinking of like the defensive line is and it's honestly because of this. We have no sacks in the past, not as many as other teams in the past couple of years.
This is exactly what they're grading off.
I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. But like we have been, last year was a great start. If we can at least get to what we were doing at least last year, but also, in my opinion, this year finishing it, which is getting the QB pressures, but then also finishing it. Get the sacks. Not letting anything by as much, So other than that, I feel like we can take that next step if we play to that, same, which I think they will. I don't have a doubt in my mind. I'm confident in this team. So, but I can understand why they do place us at because of the sacks. But I think this season we can turn that around.
Cody, your thoughts? See, Philip making a great point there. You didn't have the sacks you wanted. You thought this was the year. You went and got Calais Campbell, a late signing. Shocked all the Atlanta Falcons. Shocked the NFL world because Calais Campbell, out of all teams, chose the Atlanta Falcons. Now he is part of ways. He's back home in Miami. Best of luck to you, Calais. Until we meet you again, then it's war. But Falcon fans, Cody, your thoughts about the Atlanta Falcons ranking defensive line pretty close to last here in the NFL.
Yeah, somebody must have forgot Grady Jarrett's coming back, and somebody obviously forgot that we were the number one improved defensive line. I mean, so you're telling me that how are we, the most improved in getting, our superstar back on the defensive line? We're ranked low. Like, I mean, if you want to talk about sacks, okay, cool. Yeah, we lost 3 games based off of, not being able to get a quarterback down on the ground. But I mean, that goes either, one way or the other, man. It's sometimes you just run into bad luck, but how close were we to getting those guys on the ground? The one that sticks out in my mind is the one in Arizona, that he's this far from, slapping a shoe or grabbing a shoelace and bringing him down. Mm-hmm. So, I think this is probably more clickbait than it is anything else, because I don't see how you get your superstar Grady Jarrett back. You are the most improved defensive line in the offseason, and then you're ranked, I'm guessing we're probably down there at 28, 27.
Yes.
That's probably somewhere in that area. It just, I like sacks, and it's a cool stat, but my thing is if you can get that pressure and you make the quarterback's life hell, it doesn't matter if you get him on the ground.
Pipes.
Yeah, that's just.
You got to have the pressure. You got to get to the quarterback. Cody with the stats here and the facts on DFU. Falcon fans, that has wrapped up the show tonight.
I do have another thing. What was that thing? The new topic.
Around the league, I forgot.
I got one
as well. But Philip, take it away, man. New subject here on DFU. Around the league before we get out of here tonight.
This 2024 season, ticket prices. We've been looking at them. It has been saying the Oakland Raiders are the most expensive tickets to buy out of this whole season. And guess who? But we are and expenses as well. That's meaning food, drinks, everything. But we are also the cheapest out of everything. We got a good new stadium, beer, everything, food, cheap, everything. Tickets is cheap. So, shout out to Arthur Blank for being for the people.
I did see that, Philip. I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to talk about that night, and I forgot to. That was a good topic there, Philip.
Sorry for the Oakland fan, or Las Vegas fans.
I got a really good around the league. Really good around the league for you. Go ahead, Cody.
I will say I do have a bone to pick with all you Taylor Swift fans. I swear to God, tickets for that game are like I think get-in price for like nosebleeds is like $200.
Oh my God!
You're not going to get to see her. They are not going to highlight her in Atlanta. Nobody cares here in Atlanta. So Falcon fans, quit.
She's not hip hop. They don't care.
Quit selling your tickets to Kansas City Chiefs fans. I know that's what's going on. I know it's all little Taylor Swift's little cronies that are hiking up the price. Knock it off. I would say there are Falcon fans that actually want to go to this game because we actually care about the teams that are playing, not because Taylor Swift might be there. That's my only bone that I'm going to pick. Not hating on Taylor Swift. Good for her and everything that she's done. And Travis Kelce, happy for both of them. But good Lord, $200 for nosebleed seats, man, is unreal.
My guy Wallace Smith in the chat says, I don't have a problem with that until they can see our defense in action. They based it off of what we don't have a top name edge rusher, but we know how good we think our defense is going to be. Shout out to Wallace Smith in the chat. Cody, you're 100%, man. I've always bought nosebleed tickets and go chill out at a bar. I sit at a bar. I go down to 200 Concourse, somewhere around there, stand up.
Be hanging out.
I'm standing up in my seats regardless. I mean, opening day, I usually try to get me a low seat, probably by the tunnel each opening game because I love that atmosphere coming out the tunnel, getting
it's fun.
Hype these guys up coming out.
That whole section out there is cool. Shout out to them, man. That year we went to that year we went to the World Series. We started the Tomahawk chant, man, and that section in general, that was just fun. So
I've got a really good topic around the league topic for tonight. We talked about it last week about a possible receiver the Atlanta Falcons could entertain. We didn't see it happen, and we talked that you would have to trade a high draft pick and you'd have to pay the guy the bag the next season. But a guy in Brandon Ayuk was on a podcast, the Pivot podcast. Brandon Ayuk was asked, if I were to take a guess when they asked him, if you were not in a Niners jersey, who else would you see yourself in? And Brandon Ayuk says he would probably see himself in a Washington Commander uniform or a Steelers uniform. Two teams we play this year. So regardless, you may end up seeing Brandon Ayuk play the Atlanta Falcons this year, but probably will not be with the team. Philip, Cody, your thoughts real quick before we wrap the show up.
Not really to say on that. I don't really – it is what it is. If he ends up, with Pittsburgh, it don't matter. I'm ready to see you week one. It don't make it down to me. Yeah, personally, me, I'm ready to take your ass down. That's all I got to say.
Your thoughts.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which team you go to, Brandon. If you're in a Washington Commander uniform or you're a Steeler one, you're getting smoked either way.
I respect you as a player, but buddy, when you come to Atlanta, it's just business. I
love how Cody called him Brandon. It's like, let's go, Brandon. Like, Brandon. Shout out to Cody, man. Shout out to Philip. Philip, Cody, been an awesome show. It's been a 52-minute live here for the fans. Philip, Cody, your shout outs for tonight.
Brother, it's been a stressful week, but my God has found a way to bless me to give people opportunities, man. I'm happy. Like I say, he's the number one shout out every single week, and we'll continue. It don't matter. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Y'all are another blessing, man. It's like we're at 406 right now. That is crazy to me. So shout out to y'all. Y'all are helping me live a dream, bro. So shout out to y'all. And my boys. It's not just me. It's not. You're helping us. Shout out to y'all too for being here. It's always a good time on Fridays, whether it's sometimes on Mondays here lately. So it's always fun, especially with the guys here, and girls, in the chat. It's always blessing. I always make good points, and I'm always happy to hear y'all's point of views and what your questions. So shout out to y'all.
Hey, that's what we started the podcast for, man. You know what? Rise up. Love bringing content to the fans. My guy Wallace Smith with the comment says, "Great content, fellas. Appreciate the love, Wallace. Man, Wallace always making sure to tune in, whether that's after the show or during a live. Wallace Smith has been
majority here all the time.
Cody, your shout outs for tonight, brother.
Yeah, no, shout out to you guys coming on Friday night, man. I love wrapping up the week this way. I mean, always got to work Saturday, so it's a nice way to go into Saturday work. Talking Falcon football with y'all. So. Always shout out to you two for coming on and doing this. Love the energy that y'all always bring about it. it's good to talk to other diehard Falcon fans, man.
Just
It's
wait
just
till
it's
game
just
day.
good. It's oh man, I can't wait, man.
Cody, you ain't seen us in action on game day, baby. We're a
saying-
whole nother person in
I
game
was
day.
say, I
man. It's
can't
gonna
wait to
be
see
lit.
it. I was say
I
you'll
get
see a whole
rowdy.
other side, man. I was say, but you know, shout out to everybody that watches and views and likes and shares and you know does all that stuff and interacts with us. You guys are awesome. Like Philip said, it's you know I never thought I'd be on a podcast talking about the Falcons, but you know this is.
Same.
It's awesome, man. I say I love it. So, you know, shout out to everybody that views, you know, watches us. You know, without y'all, you know, we're just three guys talking about Falcon football, which is, I mean, still a good thing. Always a good thing.
Still
But you
good
know,
enough,
it's nice to do you know do it for the fans too. So, you know, shout out to y'all. Always rise up.
Once again, man, I gotta say, shout out to my co-host. Without my co-host, we wouldn't have a podcast. Because, guys, I don't know about you, but I can't sit behind a camera and talk to myself. I've tried it. I didn't like it. Brought my boy Philip on with me. We started this thing out. Had to get Cody in the building after a special guest appearance.
And it does mark a year for me. So,
Yep. Shout out to Philip for being officially a year on the podcast, man. Shout out to Philip. Like I said, if Philip would have never joined, we probably would have quit this thing a long time ago. So shout out to Philip for keeping it rolling here with the edits, with the content, always bringing the memes for the YouTube page. Shout out to Philip, man. Check him out. Avitz on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Philip.
no, I'm not on Instagram, but I'm on Twitter and Twitch, and I have a little bit on TikTok. But it's just
Check him out, man.
stuff.
Give my boy a follow, a like,
Don't
a
forget to
comment.
pay that man too.
Give him subscription, baby. Shout out to
Hey, I don't
everybody
ask
in the
for it, but it
comment
would be
section, man.
appreciably grateful, man. I would be grateful for that, man.
Appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight, that hit that like button, all the new subscribers. And like I said, if you came in from the Weldon aspect of the page, shout out to you. Glad you tuned in tonight. Shout out to moms, as Philip said. Shout out to the good man above. Shout out to the wife. Shout out to the little baby boy, man. Blessings on blessings. Shout out to each and everybody that's tuned in, that has subscribed, that's shown love to DFU, man. It's your boys, Dirty Fanatics United. We out. As always, A-Town down. Rise up.